Hello guys, this is your Naruto Addict zero point 0.2 friend and we are back with a new fanfic. What if Naruto survived the deadly rain apocalypse? Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Belladonna didn't know how she ended up waking up as a child in the middle of a muggle lab. She should have been dead but somehow she wasn't. Instead she was de-aged. Her magic helped her to escape where she was locked away. She remembers the doctor speaking of her being cloned from a dead infant, the only clone of dozens to survive. Finding no trace of magic anywhere else, she is sure she must be in a new world. Her magic being all that kept her alive in the labs. Determined to ensure her survival, she creates a new identity for herself by creating documents of her existence and placing memories within the mind of a man who had lost hope after his wife died delivering their stillborn daughter, her twin. What happens when after 13 years her father calls her from work, warning her to stay out of the rain? Worse yet, she was to stay with the Andersons only for her friend Simone's father to refuse. Martin Fem, Harry Rasmus. Pre-apocalypse established relationship Martin Fem, Harry. Character descriptions. Name, Belladonna Jamie Potter, Belladonna Winther. Nickname alias, Donna, Bell. DOB, July 31, 2002 Pre-apocalypse age, 15 couple months from 16 canon age, 22. Face claim, Maggie Elizabeth Jones as child, Holland Roden as teen and adult. Abilities, Magic Hogwarts education along with studying Potter plus Black family magics and tomes immune to virus due to it being the baseline it was created from. Lovers, Martin Kirk and Rasmus Anderson. Education occupation, previously, Gringotts runes warding apprentice, basic healer able to heal non-fatal wounds and complete basic first aid such as disinfecting, wrappings, and currently, dual enrollment high school senior and college student, bioengineering taught engineering and mechanics by father. Family, Philip Winther father, played by Sean Bean, Dahlia Winther mother, July 31, 2003 childbirth, appearance would be Jessica Chastain Astor Winther sister July 31, 2003 stillborn, Sergio Vitelli maternal grandfather February, 2016 age, played by R. Jack Foley Olivia Dallin paternal aunt Peter Dallin uncle Jakob Dallin paternal cousin, played by Anders Jewell Sarah Dallin paternal cousin, played by Clara Rosiger. Name, Martin Kirk. DOB, January 28, 1999 Pre-apocalypse age, 19, canon age, 25. Face claim, Mikkel Bo Folsgaard. Abilities, resistant to virus, has unknowingly developed immunity through long-term contact with Belladonna and exposure to magic military training, vehicle mechanic self-taught. Lover, Belladonna Winther. Education occupation, secondary school. Occupation, soldier pre-apocalypse. Family, none. Name, Rasmus Anderson. DOB, February 6, 2007 Pre-apocalypse age, 11, canon age, 17. Face claim, Bertilde Lorenzi as child, Lucas Lingard Tunson as teen adult. Abilities, artist, immunity to virus, symbiotic with virus, connected with infected, semi-control over infected can release a black viral smoke. Lover, Belladonna Winther. Education occupation, upper primary school, taught by sister after apocalypse. Family, Dr. Frederick Anderson father Ellen Anderson mother May 4, 2018 Simone Anderson sister. It was hard to breathe. She moved her hands to find some sort of tube entering her mouth. There were needles in her body. Opening her eyes she saw she was in some sort of chamber and surrounded by fluid. She could somewhat see through the thick liquid that was blurring her vision that she was in some sort of muggle lab. She was so tired. Her eyes closed for just a moment. The needles provided nutrients but also sedatives automatically. It took a while before she realized why it was she was getting so tired only moments after waking, having thought her body and magic was simply healing itself. While not wrong, it just wasn't injuries she was healing from. No, it was the constant abuse the doctors put her through. They were doing something with her blood. Trying to replicate something within it. She could think of only one thing that might be, her magic. She could hear them occasionally when her magic managed to clear enough of the sedatives from her body. Fortunately, they simply thought her brainwaves becoming more active was a good thing and a result of their own success. She didn't know what they intended to do if they managed to isolate and replicate the genetic structure that had to do with her magic or why. What she did know was that it wouldn't be good. She remembered that just a couple years after the war ended, a muggle-born who had chosen to return to the mundane world had begun experimenting with her own blood. The results had been horrifying. The small but concentrated sample she had extracted and somehow weaponized, whether he knew it or not, had killed dozens when he released it in a small neighborhood park. Apparently he had been attempting to give magic to muggles, hoping that they would be so thankful they would join him in destroying the wizarding world. Instead his creation was poison to muggles, killing them within an instant and saw him executed by the very ones he sought to destroy. It had taken time for her magic to become strong enough to cleanse her body of the drugs the doctors were giving her and ensure the new ones did not make it within her by banishing them. Fortunately her magic had always been strong and this ordeal had only made it that much stronger. Though admittedly she was surprised at how quickly her magic seemed to respond to her now. Her time learning with the goblins would certainly come in use now. Many did not know, but the goblins did not simply manage Gringotts banks across the globe and train teams for pillaging ancient tombs. No, the goblins held access to magics long forgotten by wizards. Magic that could erase all trace and memory of a person and all involving them. Magic that could create an entirely new existence with memories and documents wherever necessary. Magic that could recreate genuine money from a single currency and not just duplicates like the Gemino charm. It was exactly those spells she had learned from secretly watching the goblins that would aid her now. As it turned out, magic could work around and with technology so long as one believed it would, and as such it would wipe her from not only the minds of all those involved but their cameras and computers. She might have a child's body, but her magic was just as strong as it was when Ron Weasley cast the Sectum Semper that killed her in a fit of anger after she had yet again rejected him. At least she had changed her will so that Teddy was the one who inherited everything aside from a small bit that would go to her goddaughter Pandora, Luna and Neville's girl. She searched for any trace of magic for weeks but found nothing. The only magic to be found was what existed in the earth itself. She needed to make a new life for herself, and as she searched for a place to do so, she found a man who was lost. Using the limited skill she had in legilimency, she looked into his mind and found that he had lost his wife to childbirth only for their daughter to be stillborn. He wanted so much to continue on for them but couldn't find it in him. He'd forced himself to live on the last 3 years but was at his end. He was ready to give up. A funny thing about the identity creation spell was that when used to create not only a background but an actual family, a member of said family had to willingly accept the one entering it. It would have been considered dark magic mostly because it involved blood and would truly make one part of the family. It would only need the blood of the willing, and the one who was being given the new identity would become their blood and the blood of those involved without ever needing theirs. It wouldn't matter if the others had involved had passed on or not, their blood would be called and joined together. Magical and even Muggle testing would find her to be his daughter. Papa, what will our new home be like? Just hold on, we're almost there, darling. I think we will like it here in Naceved. Why did you need a new job anyways, Papa? Well, this one would let us have more money so we'll be more comfortable and it will let me be home with you more often. He looked just past me and smiled. We're here. What do you think? She turned to find a cute little red brick cottage. Gray brick made various decorative designs across the home while cream-toned ones framed the windows. It was smaller than the other homes in the neighborhood but clearly had far more green space. It was clear that those who had built on the property cared more for the outdoors than the inside. So, he looked down at her expectantly and she smiled up at him. I like it. The front door opened to a narrow but long room that was used for a living and dining area. An open wooden staircase leading to the attic and basement. To the left of the staircase was 2 doors, one the bathroom and the other to my father's room. To the right of it was the most colorful part of the cottage. The kitchen had light mint green lower cabinets with dark granite counters, just slightly brighter uppers, steel appliances, and a powder blue island with a wooden counter that 2 could sit and eat at. The rest of the cottage was mostly white walls and neutral toned furniture on a pegged dark wooden floor. Belladonna, this is my coworker Dr. Frederick Anderson and his family. His wife Ellen and their daughter Simone. She smiled and waved her hand. Why don't you go play with Simone while we talk, darling? All right, Papa. Come on, Simone. Papa finished putting up the swings in the backyard. The blonde's eyes went wide in excitement and she looked up at her parents. Go ahead. Simone grabbed my hand and began pulling me along. You can call me Donna. Be careful, girls. Miss Ellen called from behind us. I still can't believe I'm a big sister, Simone said as she laid on my bed before rolling over to look at me. You know, Rasmus is cute when he isn't crying, but I think you would have been better for a little sibling. Do you think your dad would let me trade the 2 of you? She asked, laughing. I don't think our parents will agree to that. I shook my head at her. You know he always follows you around whenever we visit. I think he has a crush. Simone, Rasmus is only 3. Exactly. He's plenty old enough. I had a crush on your dad when we met. Ew. I scrunched up my nose. When are you finally going to get a boyfriend, Donna? I'm 13, Simone. I don't need a boyfriend. But it'll be good to have one. Just close your eyes for a moment. Well, come on. I rolled my eyes and closed my eyes. Just picture it, we go to the park and waiting there for us are 2 cute boys with our favorite flowers. They have a picnic set up and they feed us finger foods. I break out laughing. Finger foods? Really, Simone? And besides, a boy might be able to get daisies for you, but what boy our age will be able to get me stargazer lilies? Then get an older one. She told me, her brows going up and down. Papa would hate that. But you wouldn't. She looks at me with a sly smile and we both giggle. So when will I finally get to meet this boyfriend of yours, Belladonna Winther? Did you just full name me? I looked at her with a wide smile before settling down. Papa doesn't know about him. Haven't you been seeing each other for a few months now? Yes, but I shouldn't have even told you. He's older than me. He's older than you. Are you calling me old? She hit me with a pillow. Wait, how much older, Donna? She looked at me worriedly. Not as much as you're thinking, Simone. He's only 3 years older than me. He's 18. She practically screamed and I rushed to cover her mouth. I looked at the door that led to the staircase. Are you trying to get me in trouble? I don't know about this, Donna. Has he been pressuring you? At all? No, Simone, no. We just talk and he holds me. We kiss, but that is it. He hasn't even mentioned sex. He isn't like that. Simone just looks at me with disbelief. He's never asked. No, Simone, he hasn't. He makes me comfortable and happy. His kisses give me these tingling butterflies in my stomach. I smile thinking of him, my fingers touching my lips. When we're together I can't help smiling. I never noticed her frown. Where is she? Fuck. What are we going to do? The exam is in 30 seconds. Where is she? Igor banged his head on the table, frustrated. It's just not like her to be late, Sophie said, looking at her phone after calling Simone yet again. She'll be here, I'm sure. Mila spoke, trying to comfort her girlfriend. What do we do? We're all going to flunk. What do we do? Igor started again, this time getting up from his seat. Hello, are you ready? Our professor asked after opening the classroom door. 2 minutes, I just have to take a dump, Igor told him. Professor Wilkie looked at him disgusted. 2 minutes, if you're not in by then you'll have to take a re-examination. Okay. He closed the door behind him. Fuck, said Mila. Call her again. I told Sophie. If she's not here in a few minutes, we'll go off the previous version. She can't have made that many changes in one night. I grabbed my tablet. I'm forwarding it to your phones. You can put on an earbud and have it be read for you and you just repeat. That's brilliant. Woo, I'm here. I'm here. Simone rushes up to us and the three of us girls whoop back, happy we won't have to explain our missing partner. You're late. Come on. Come on. Sophie tells her after hugging Simone and heading back to the table. We've got lots of time. I just changed a little and wrote marked out says what. She hands us the papers. It's not that hard. So what do I talk about? I don't get it. Igor spoke to Simone getting close to her. You talk about the water. Easy, right? We owe you. Mila spoke. And a date. Igor put out and Simone looked at him, a small smile forming before releasing a chuckle before glancing at me as I shared a look with Mila and Sophie. Tonight. You better fucking pass then. I tune them out as I pick up my phone and walk a few steps away to answer. Papa, Donna, you need to get home. You get home right now. Papa, I'm staying with Simone for the weekend, remember? Good, good. Go with Simone and her father. He should be there soon if he isn't already. Do not go out in the rain. The rain is dangerous. Papa, what are you talking about? Dad, I've got an exam. I turn around hearing Simone's voice only to see Dr. Anderson grabbing hold of her arm. Go home and stay there. He turns back to look at us before dragging her along. Dad, Donna's staying with us for the weekend. Her dad is out of town, remember? Dr. Anderson, he turns to look at me, hesitance clear in his eyes before they harden, sending warning bells ringing in my mind. My magic begins to rush forward just as it did at the height of the war whenever I was close to danger. Donna, what's going on? I hear my dad's voice from my phone as I look on confused. Go home, Belladonna. We can't take you with us, it's an emergency. Come now, Simone, come. He pulls her roughly. Papa, Dr. Anderson says there is some sort of emergency. I can't go with them. Bastard. Donna, listen to me. Get home, darling. Get home and whatever you do, don't go outside. Go now and don't stop. If it rains, don't go outside. You can't get wet. He hangs up. Papa. I look down the hall to see Simone look back at me from the steps. Head home, you guys. Go home and don't come out. I grab my things before rushing out, ignoring their calls for me as I rush to the 2016 Toyota Helix Papa had bought for our regular road trips. While not legal to drive at my age, I did have a fake ID and Papa had looked the other way so long as I promised not to do anything that would get me into trouble. Donna. Hi Donna. Rasmus ran up to me grasping at my legs. Hello Rasmus. I hugged him and he gave me a bright smile. I pat his head, fingers tangling into his reddish blonde curls. Your mom is probably taking you for a haircut pretty soon, Yay. She says my hair is too much for me to take care of. Well, that's a shame. He looks up at her with a confused look. She bends down and crooks her finger as if she is going to tell him the most important secret in the world. I love your curls. I think they make you look very cute. In fact, your curls are probably going to make me have to beat the girls off with a stick once you're older. Little heartbreaker. He giggles. You won't have to beat them off with a stick. Oh, and why is that? Because I'm gonna marry you. He says with a big smile and she laughs. Their parents were in their own alley a few down from them laughing, as the three of them bowled. Your turn, Donna. Yay. Go, Donna. Rasmus cheered me on as I lined myself up and let the ball go. Strike. I brought my arm across in a fist pump as every pin went down. Woo. I turned around to see Rasmus stood on his seating whooping and Simone pouting at the two of us having higher scores than her, sending me into a fit of laughter. Come on, Rasmus, I said walking up to him, finding him to be just about my height as he stood on his seat. You get most of them down this time and there's no way Simone can win. He smiled real big and tapped his cheek. I need good luck. I laughed a bit but nodded. He was just too adorable. As I went to peck his cheek, he quickly turned his head and kissed me. Rasmus. Both Simone and I yelled in surprise, but he just smiled widely, laughing. Now I definitely have good luck. He rushed to get his bowling ball as I looked at Simone and shook my head. He's your brother. According to him, your future husband. She say with a laugh. I got a strike. Rasmus' voice calls out excitedly and we both turned to see it was true. Well, would you that? Your kisses really are good luck. Simone says, a strange tone in her voice. Woo. Go Rasmus. I cheer him on as he runs past. How can you be so excited about a game of footy? Simone asks, taking another handful of popcorn. Oh, come on Simone. This is your little brother. Papa speaks as they watch Rasmus kick. Goal. Yay. Simone rolls her eyes as she stays seated. You know this is completely ridiculous for a kid's game. It's about having fun, Simone. I tell her. Where did your parents go? I have no idea. I turn away from her and look back onto the field and catch sight of Rasmus. Something's wrong. I say lightly, brows furrowing. Rasmus raises his hand to his head before shaking it and jogging forward. What? Something's wrong with Rasmus. Nothing is wrong with him. You are just being protective. I swear it's like you're his sister and not me, Donna. I look at her wondering if she could be right and it is just my imagination, but just as I turn to look back at him, I see it. Rasmus. I watch as he stumbles, just barely catching himself, only to faint a moment later. The whistle blows, signaling a timeout, and we run out onto the field. He's not responding. Someone call an ambulance. Rasmus. I whisper, tears in my eyes. Donna, you came. Rasmus smiled at me weakly. Of course, I did. And if you can give me a big smile, I have a surprise for you, I think you'll really like. I said teasingly. You are going to be so excited. I give a clap and point at him. A kiss, he said excitedly, and I narrowed my eyes. Sorry, he said, putting his head down with a small smile and mumbling. I would have really liked it though. Rasmus. No, I said, giving him a look. Fine. He gave a big cheesy smile and laughed lightly. Well, I guess that was good enough. Close your eyes. I sit beside him and open me bag. No peeking. I say when he opens an eye to look and he closes them again. And I take out the art set that I had bought him. I had noticed that he had enjoyed the art class one had taken him to one weekend, and when I passed one of these by I couldn't help thinking he would enjoy it. What do you think? I asked, holding it in front of me. Whoa, he opened the art box. There's so many different ones. He looked up at me. So you have your standard crayons, markers, and paint in here, and if you lift this here, I turned it slightly so I could lift the tray. Voila, a secret compartment with even more. This is amazing. I love it. Happy 11th birthday, Rasmus. I tell him, pressing a kiss to his cheek, and he smiles at me. Donna, you made it. Of course, I did, and look at you. You look better every time I see you now. You're getting stronger. I'm so happy your dad found that medicine for you. I hug him to me. Now where is your sister? I have to see her as well now that Papa and I are back from our trip. Simone is inside with Mom. Alright, I'll be back in a bit. You have fun with your friends and I'll give you your present later. I say before heading inside. Hello Ms. Ellen. Hey Simone. You're back. Simone yelps before yelling and rushing to me. We talk as Rasmus hangs out with his old friends from school. A few hours pass and soon enough his friends are all picked up. Is it time for my present, Donna? Rasmus asks me from the kitchen doorway. I guess so. Papa will be picking me up soon anyways. Come along, I left it in the living room. He follows behind me and I grab the bag that holds his gift before sitting on the couch and patting the spot next to me. So it may not look it, but this gift is actually pretty special and it will only work for you. I tell him seriously. You remember how I would make those pretty lights when you had trouble sleeping? Yay, you said it was our secret. He says quietly. Yes, it is, and so is this. I hand him the bag and he pulls out my gift, a large rectangular yellow backpack with leather straps to hold it closed with his name written across the fold. A book bag. He looks at me confused. Not just a book bag. Open it. He does and looks inside. Art supplies. He looks at me, smiling. Yes, art supplies. She leans forward and whispers, in a magic book bag. One that won't run out of space so long as you believe. Do you believe, Rasmus? I smile as he nods and continue. Watch this. I take the bag, placing it on the floor, and slide one of my sandals off before standing. I place my bare foot above the bag's opening. Are you watching? He nods, excited but not knowing what I plan on doing. I place my foot inside and he watches as I reach down and pick it up, leg still inside, until it looks like my leg has simply disappeared as I continue until the opening reaches my hip. I hear footsteps and quickly take my leg out of the bag before handing it to Rasmus. His father walking in just as I fix my sandal, making it look as though it had slid off. So, Rasmus laughs. Best gift ever. Belladonna, your father says he's only a few minutes away and to be ready. Dr. Anderson tells me. I already am, sir. My bag is right here. I pack my little backpack that sits at the edge of the couch and he nods before turning away. I give Rasmus a wink and he lifts his hand to hide his laughter. So what did you wish for? What I always wish for. Oh, what is that exactly? For you to be my wife. Rasmus. I look at the boy, shocked he would waste his birthday wishes on such a thing. He truly is adorable. Don't you think I'm a bit too old for you? But I'll get older too. And for every year you get older, so do I. I'll be an old lady before you become an old man. So what? You'll always be the most beautiful girl in the world to me. I look at him wide-eyed. Oh dear, I was right. You really are becoming a little heartbreaker. No, I'm not. I'll never break your heart. He says as if I've offended him in the worst way. Okay, how about we make a deal? What kind of deal? He looks at me while squinting his eyes, making me have to hold back a laugh. You don't use any more of your birthday wishes to get me to marry you, and if I am not married by the time you are old enough to make such a decision and you still are interested, I will give you a chance to convince me that we could be happy together. How does that sound? He rubs his chin before standing up and pacing, all the while continuing his little hums. Okay, you got a deal, but don't even think about changing your mind later. I can't help laughing then and just agree. We had lived in the neighborhood for a few months now. The neighbors were kind and a few of them even had children or grandchildren around my age to play with. As kids would always ride our bikes or play together every week. It was then I met him. He was a few years older than me with light green, almost grayish eyes and dirty blonde straight hair that bordered brown. He helped me up when some of the other kids had pushed me down and laughed about my not having a mother. I was used to hearing it, and so much worse, what with having lived with the Dursleys, but with having the emotions of a child I couldn't help the tears that came. His name was Martin Kirk, and much as I had been the last time around, he was an orphan. Martin, however, lived his very loving and elderly grandparents. We didn't get the chance to speak often as the years passed, aside from regular greetings and an occasional talk here and there as we attended different schools. Papa's work at Apollon meant he had enough money to send me to a prep school. Don't laugh. My friend's little brother stole my first kiss. What? He looked at me in shock. How old was he? 9 or 10. I gave a little laugh with a shrug. How? He shook his head, not able to picture it. We went bowling and he was standing on his chair. I went to peck his cheek and the little sneak turned his head. He barked out a laugh. Smart kid. Really? That's what you say? I asked incredulously. He is. Bella, one would have to be blind not to notice how beautiful you are. He looks at me smiling and pushes a loose strand of hair behind my ear. You think I'm beautiful? I ask, and he stops smiling, realizing that he had said it aloud. I didn't mean to say that out loud. He looks away from me, moving to the far side of the cottage's step we are sat on. But you did. So, yes. Is that what you want to hear, Bella? I think you are the most beautiful girl I have ever seen in my life. He stands up and starts pacing in front of me. But what does it matter? I don't have anything and I'm not good for you. I stood and grabbed his arm, turning him to me. You think that, but doesn't my choice in this matter? For our first date we had gone to the movies and then to get pizza. His smile when I told him I didn't want to see a romance but Thor, Ragnarok would stay with her for years. No romance. No chick flick. I scoffed. No. Did I really come off like someone interested in those? He laughs, shaking his head as they walk back to her home, hand in hand. No, you don't, but one never knows. He chuckles. Thunder cracks above us just before rain begins pouring down on us. We make a run for it and take cover for a moment beneath an old gazebo just a couple blocks away. Martin trips coming up one of the steps and I catch him before we sit just and laugh. I can't believe me ran half a mile but you trip just as we make it to cover. I giggle only for Martin's hands to come up to the back of my head and pull me into a kiss. A kiss turns into another and soon enough we can't seem to stop. Months pass by and it seems as though their time together is what goes by the quickest while their time apart is unbearably slow. Simone worries about her doing or being pressured into something she isn't ready for, but the fact is she lived a life before this one. I didn't know if I was ready, but I did know that I wanted my relationship with Martin to move to the next step. I want us to move past hand-holding and making out on the couch. I just wasn't sure how far I wanted that next step to go. We sat in my room watching old movies, mostly comedies, as he unconsciously played with my feet, sending me into occasional giggling fits. I couldn't help thinking of how with Papa gone until tomorrow night, if I wanted to take that next step, now would be the right time to do so. Martin. Yay. He looked at me across the couch as I pulled my legs in. Do you trust me? What? Do you? Completely. Close your eyes. If you don't want to tell me to stop. I put a finger to his lips, quieting him before he could get a word out, and watched as he closed his eyes. My fingers played with one of the buttons on his shirt for a moment as I made up my mind before slowly undoing them. Bella, he said in a whisper. Shish. My hands slide across his chest then down. I just managed to unzip his jeans when his hands came up from where they had been gripping the edge of the sofa. He grips my hips and as he stands lifts me, carrying me the few steps to the beds. He lays me down following as he refuses to release his hold on me, all the while rubbing our cores together as he kisses me. Martin and I had dated for nearly a year now. Our relationship having progressed past kisses 6 months in into sex just 5 months ago. Unfortunately, our time together was shortened drastically by his conscription. His time in our little town of Haslev limited. Every chance to be together was taken. Our minds focused solely on each other. It was shortly after our first time together that he was called to serve for the next 6 months. We had held me as I teared up and questioned how we would stay in contact during this time. While allowed time to return home, it would be few and far between. Stationed just outside Randers, over 3 hours driving with little to no traffic, or rather 4 to 5 hours by train for me each way, we would have little time before either one of us had to return to reality. Oh, but the time spent living our fantasies was incredible. We often went to old, even a couple abandoned, hiking trails in various locations between the two cities. There was one weekend in which Martin had rented a small home for us to stay in Fredericia, located just a short walk from Osterstrand Beach. After arriving, we had taken a short walk before returning to the home. The look in Martin's eyes as the sodden cotton fabric clung to my body sent shivers throughout my body and warmth cooled between my thighs. The door only being closed due to our impatience as I was leant against it as he pressed kiss to my lips, cheeks, neck, and shoulder. We had tried to make it up the stairs to the bedroom but did not. His jeans pulled down just slightly and opened as I removed my shorts. Neither of us willing to wait any longer before our bodies were joined together for the first time in over a month. His thick fingers spreading my lower lips and ensuring that he would not hurt me before lining his member with my dripping core and roughly thrusting up into me. My scream of pleasure echoing in the stairwell as his arm wrapped around my waist. My hips bouncing against his in what was becoming a familiar rhythm. I've been thinking and I think I know what I want to do. I look at him curiously from where I sit on the edge of his bed. I'm going to stay in the army. My eyes close and I lift my hand covering my face. Why, Martin? Your conscription is ending, so why? Bella, this is what I want to do with my life. He pulls me into him, hugging me close. Will we be okay? I hold him as close as I can. Of course we will. I'm not letting you get away from me that easily. His hand caresses my face and we kiss, she sweater I wear falling away, and he settles me back onto his bed as he moves above me. What? He asks as I smile up at him from where I lay in his arms. You may have to worry about your leaving. Why would? What do you mean? His thin brows furrow as he looks down at me. Rasmus will be quite happy to see his competition has left. He lets out a bark of laughter. Papa has purchased an RV trailer and says that since I am graduating this year and will be off to college next, perhaps the young couple there would prefer to go on a trip that summer if Martin has the time. Mr. Winther, why? Martin asked Papa in shock from where he sat beside me. Papa simply places a hand on his shoulder and squeezes. I know what it's like to have the love of your life's father hate you. To see how it tears at her, but know that despite how it hurts her not to have that support, she chooses you anyway. My wife, bless her soul, was a kind and beautiful woman, but her father, Belladonna's grandfather, was not a man one wanted to upset, let alone disobey. He thought and to this day still does believe that I was never good enough for Dahlia. In a way he was right though. Papa I go to interrupt him but Papa holds up a hand stopping me and moves to sit back in his chair. Back then I had nothing to my name and was still in school for bioengineering. It certainly didn't help that he had plans for her to return to Italy once she finished school herself and marry well. His hand rubbed at the lower half of his face as his eyes looked off in memory. It wasn't until almost 4 years after she passed away that Sergio started coming around to see Belladonna. I reached out and took his hand in mine. All I have to do is look at you when you look at my little girl and I know. I got up from my seat and hugged him. I love you, Papa. Now while you're off, the two of us will be working on the old trailer and fixing it up. So if you plan on having any say in it before leaving next week, I suggest you do now. No white kitchen, Martin and I say at the same time. I barely made it inside when it started. I dialed his number, having long given up on Papa answering his phone after calling him repeatedly on the drive home from school. Martin, come on, answer the damn phone. Tears slipped from my eyes and I quickly wiped them away as I ran through the cottage, packing up everything I could into my bottomless bags. Hello, Martin, thank God. Listen to me, stay out of the rain. Whatever you do, don't let it touch you. Bella, what are you talking about? The rain, Martin, it's killing people. Martin, I'm so sorry. They went outside. They didn't listen to me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Bella, my grandparents. Are you saying my grandparents are hurt? They're gone, Martin. Just please, whatever you do, don't go out when it rains. Don't get wet, not even a splash. I struggled to keep the sobs, and Aunt Olivia reminded me so very much of Petunia these days. Much like her husband Peter, she was self-obsessed, only concerned with material possessions and how other people viewed her and their family. She looked down on the small cottage we lived in and even argued with Papa about how it was ridiculous for us to live in such a small home when he could afford more. Papa simply argued back on how there was only the two of them. We hadn't seen her or her family much more after that, except on holidays. It was years later, after the birth of Sarah, my little cousin, that I had the chance to grow close with Jakob. Though he was older than me by nearly 10 years, he quickly became as overprotective of me as he was of her. I wish we lived here with you and Uncle Peter, Sarah, Jakob said as we sat in my room. It had become a regular thing for them to stay with us during the summer holidays. Don't tell, but so do I. I think it would be great to have a little sister. I looked at Jakob, and a big brother. Go Sarah, I said, watching her have fun. They would be leaving to go back home in Sweden tomorrow. I'm bad, you know, she sang and danced around the room as I laughed. Woo, you know I'm bad, come on Donna, join me, she said, still dancing. What's with the noise? Jakob walked into my room and saw Sarah and laughed. Come on Jakob. I don't know. He turned back around, going to leave before quickly looking back over his shoulder. Maybe just one, he said before moonwalking to us, sending us both into a fit of laughter. He moved to my music player. Jackson Family Night. Yay, duh. He nodded and changed the song. He gave us a look, all the while smiling before spinning and doing the signature MJ hip thrust and woohoo. Aha. Sarah and I fell back on the bed laughing. I took my baby on a Saturday, bang. Boy, is that girl with you. Yes, we're one and the same. Now I believe in miracles. And a miracle has happened tonight. But, if you're thinking about my baby, it don't matter if you're black or white. He sang, danced around goofily. When the end of the song came, I put one on for the three of us, Michael and Janet Jackson's Scream. We spent the rest of the night singing and dancing around, even Papa joining in for a few songs. Grandpa, I rushed to him as he exited the large car. This young lady can't possibly be my little summer fi. Could it? Of course it's me. Well, are you ready to go? We have quite the drive. Where will we be staying? I asked him, as this is the first time I would be going with him, and knowing that he primarily lives in Italy. My old winter home. It had been in your grandmother's family since her own grandfather was a boy, younger than you, if I remember correctly. It's located just outside of Morgongava. Your mother loved it there, especially when the snow fell. I've started having it remodeled, though I will be leaving that old world charm it has. Quote, wow, it's so pretty here, Papa. Yes, it is, he told me, holding tightly to my hand. You know, that spot down there is where your mother and I had our first date. He had a far-off look in his eyes. She was so beautiful. You have her hair, though, a bit darker. It's a mix of her bright copper red and with just a hint of my brown. Those emerald green eyes, though, are your grandmother's, though. I think that is why, say, Grandpa Sergio has started coming around so much more. Why don't you and Grandpa like each other? He lets out a self-depreciating laugh. You've noticed that, He sighs. Your grandfather, he had a whole life planned for your mother. She would finish medical school, with top scores of course. She would return to Italy for her residency and in that time meet a wealthy Italian man that would provide her a life of luxury a common man could not. The truth is, your mother never wanted to go to medical school. All Dahlia wanted was to have a family and live a simple life. Yes, your mother enjoyed the finer things life had to offer, but she knew it was not necessary to have them. She once told me, Philip, there is a time to sit back enjoying the caviar and yacht parties, but it's not when you should be raising your own child. So Martin, I paused momentarily when Papa spoke before continuing to serve food to his plate. What about him? Belladonna. Papa's tone was enough of a hint not to avoid the conversation. We're dating, since. I licked my lips before moving to my own chair across from him. A few months now. Months. Papa's lips thin. Why did you not mention your relationship with each other had changed? It's the first time I felt like this. In truth, it was the first time she had felt anything like it since Cedric's death. The green-eyed, dirty blonde-haired boy had been her first crush and kiss last time around. What she felt for Martin, however, surpassed anything she had felt for Cedric. He's different. Papa, when I am with him, I cannot stop smiling. We argue at times and we don't agree on everything, but Papa, at the end of the day, I cannot imagine the next without him there in some way. She had once thought that Cedric could be her match both in temperament and magic, only to learn he had found that in Cho Chong after she caught him cheating on her. Gringotts had offered her the test to find her match when she was first hired by them, and she jumped on the chance only to learn she had their names been there would have had two matches. She had researched for months for a reason, only to believe that perhaps they were not yet born or had not reached their magical maturity. Now though she knew it was because Martin was here in a completely different world. Though there were times she couldn't help but wonder if Martin was here was her other match also. Are you sure about Martin and I going on a road trip for the summer halls before I leave for university, Papa? Yes, darling. I think it will be good for the two of you, and despite how I wish I could keep you as my little girl forever, you are nearly a woman grown. He sighs and reaches a hand out, petting my head as I lean against him. I also trust Martin to keep you safe. I don't need someone to protect me, Papa. I know. My daughter is a beautiful, independent, strong little warrior who's just a little too headstrong. Hey, watch it, mister. We laugh before settling down and focusing back on the movie. So my adorable little pup Luna will be making her own cameo as Belladonna's Sunny. Below will be maps I created, visible for those of you on Wattpad and OW3. Details regarding the rain locations, or rather their estimated locations, and those created for this story will be placed in order according to canon storyline. I will mark if something is or is not canon. 1. Haslev, Denmark story ONLY. Carrot Town Belladonna and Martin grew up in. 2. Næstved, Denmark canon, estimated based on direction traveling in S1E1. Carrot location of school Belladonna and Simone attend. 3. Slagels, Denmark canon, estimated based on bunker map from the show. Carrot city near the forest in which the Andersons bunker was located. 4. Copenhagen, Denmark canon. Carrot city people had gathered in because of the large amount of food once held, now attack and kill each other for food. Carrot Bakken is located on the outskirts, amusement park Sarah wanted to go to. 5. Amager, Denmark canon. Carrot the location of the ransacked bunker the group went to after Rasmus was stabbed in Copenhagen. 6. Little Bjarred, Sweden canon. Carrot location of Doctor, who once worked for Apollon and attempted to kill Rasmus for revenge on his father due to him causing the rain, killing her family. 7. Norrköping, Sweden canon, estimated on Stranger Hollow map. Carrot Apollon HQ, located somewhere outside the city near the mountains. 8. Vellinge, Sweden canon, estimated based on Martin's map. Carrot old military base of operations near the Swedish coast, near Køge Bay, can sail between Sweden and Denmark. 9. Roskilde, Denmark canon. Carrot rebels base where Jakob, Sarah, and Fie are. Roughly 10 miles from Køge Bay on foot, landing on the coast of Karlsund. 10. Stridsmål, Denmark canon, estimated by stated 50-mile distance from Roskilde. Carrot estimated location of the Anderson home. 11. Morgongava, Sweden story only. Carrot old family manor just outside the small town's border in the woods that was left to Belladonna by her grandfather. It is located roughly 118 miles 190 kilometers north of Apollon's Wall and nearly 73 miles 117 kilometers northwest from Stockholm. Story time. With Martin. Martin does his best to calm Bella, promising he will go inside and stay there until the rain ends. Dark clouds are quickly moving in and he feels this need to be far when the rain pours. He knows his flower would not make such a thing up as the rain being dangerous. She would not lie to him about the seriousness of the situation. Ida, we have to get inside. He calls, rushing to his friend, seeing her about to leave for a run. What are you talking about, Martin? Belle called. She said the rain is killing people. The rain is killing people. Martin, do you he? Ida, he cuts her off. When have you ever known Bella to exaggerate or make things up? But it doesn't make sense. Maybe she just has a fever. Ida, please. Even if Bella was sick and delirious from a fever, would she say my grandparents were gone? What about the screams I heard from the background? Ida stays silent, unable to think of a response. I know you've noticed the things she can do. He notices how Ida's breathing nearly comes to a halt and her hand twitches. I don't know what you're talking about. Ida, I've known her for over a decade. She is it for me. Do you really think I would put her at risk mentioning this, here of all places, if I thought you were a risk to her safety? Or if I thought she wasn't serious? Thunder begins to crack above them. Ida, please. Bella would be heartbroken if anything happened to you. The two of you have grown closer than she ever did with Simone, and they've known each other almost since the moment she moved to Denmark from Sweden. Okay. We avoid the rain. She rushed inside the nearby building with him. Only moments later did they hear the screams begin and see people soon follow after they themselves rushed to get inside or to help those who were falling. Stay away from anyone who gets wet. With Belladonna, whimpers come from beneath the covers of her bed as she watched the rain pour from her window. She looked over and stood, slowly and quietly walking over after noticing shifting from beneath her quilt. Her hand reached out as her other held a conjured ball of fire. She flipped the quilt to reveal a lightly golden pup with a white belly. Sunny, her little familiar, blinked up at her with her big brown eyes and sat up. She couldn't help the small giggle that escaped her despite the seriousness of what was happening outside. Sunny had managed to crawl into a gray t-shirt Martin had left behind when last in her home. Sunny tripped as she pawed towards her and she lifted the little pup into her arms, scratching her little one behind the ear until she calmed and drifted back into a nap. She couldn't help thinking of Martin and Ida at the base, or Simone and Rasmus, and hoping that they were safe. With the Anderson family. Dad, I've got an exam. Simone tells her father as he pulls her away. Go home and stay there. He turns back to warn his daughter's friends. Seeing Belladonna, Winther sends a rush of guilt through him. Dad, Donna's staying with us for the weekend. Her dad is out of town, remember? Dr. Anderson. He looks at her, hesitating as the guilt rises, but his family has to come first. I'm sorry, Belladonna, but there's a family emergency. We can't take you. He turns away, pulling Simone faster. Forgive me, Papa. Dr. Anderson says there is some sort of emergency. I can't go with them. The father and daughter near the steps as the girl they've known for over a decade speaks on the phone, panicked. Papa. Simone looks toward the girl who had her questioning her own sexuality in worry as her father pulls her roughly out of school into the car. Dad, what the hell is going on? Simone tries to get his attention as he drives along the highway like a maniac, all the while speaking on the phone with his boss. Simone, calm down. Your dad's on the phone. Ellen tells her daughter. Explain why you came and got me from school like that. And you just left Donna. Mom, what rain is he talking about? The sun is shining. I don't get it. What's the rush? We'll be there in a minute. We'll make it in time. Frederick tells Sten on the phone. Dad, you're crazy. Rasmus calls out. We have to get Donna. I want Donna to come. Will you please put the phone down? Ellen turns to Frederick. I'll call when we're safe. Can you tell me where we're going? Simone moves forward. She turns her head when she hears a low click behind her and sees Rasmus taking his seatbelt off. What are you doing? Don't do that. I need my marker. Put down the phone, Frederick. Damn right. It's serious. Don't take it off. Simone leans over to get Rasmus to put the seatbelt back on him, but he moves away. What do you want me to do? I don't know how far it will spread. Frederick tells Sten just before Ellen rips the phone away from him. What are you doing? Concentrate on what's out there on the road. Keep your eyes on the road. Don't take off your seatbelt, Rasmus. What are you doing? Simone says as horns beep around them as Frederick shifts from lane to lane passing cars. Rasmus, don't take off your seatbelt. Ellen tells her son. If you do, I will glue you to the seat. Let me find it. Donna gave it to me. I need to find it. Breaking news, we have reports from Vordingborg. People are experiencing acute allergic reactions and respiratory problems. Simone's face drops in shock at what she is hearing over the radio. Get back in your seat, now. Frederick tells his son. Eyewitnesses reported that the symptoms appeared after heavy rainfall. Simone turns in her seat to look out the back windshield and finds dark storm clouds quickly growing behind them, thunder rumbling. She feels Rasmus come across her and pushes him back. Don't do that, Rasmus. She turns to look forward at her parents. Is that what we're running from? Why did you leave Donna? She's my best friend. Help your brother with the seat belt. Frederick tells her as he shifts towards the other lane only to graze the nearby car, driver's side mirror flying off. Ellen gasps as Simone jumps, a small squeak of fright leaving her. Simone, now. Buckle him now. I'm trying. He won't do it. Rasmus, put your seatbelt on now. Rasmus. Frederick turns away from the road to look at his son in frustration and reaches back to sit him in his seat. Simone looks up and hits at his arm. Dad, watch out. Frederick turns to see an 18-wheeler in front of them. He slams the brakes and spins the wheels to enter the other lane. He loses control as they shift lanes and then shifts them again after seeing the rail. The truck they'd nearly crashed into turning and rolling as the car is turned around. A white ran squealing to a stop only a couple feet from the front of their car. Are you okay? Are you hurt? Ellen immediately turns in her seat and questions her children. A man exits the white van and comes to the driver's side. Are you all right? You need to move your car. Frederick tells him. How am I supposed to do that? The man looks at him. Hey, calm down, he says, seeing Frederick start to freak out. If you don't move your fucking car, we're all going to die. What? He questions. What are you talking about? Simone questions from her seat. Donna. Oh God, please be safe. The rain's dangerous. Rasmus sits up, his small voice asking. Several deaths have been reported after the rainfall over Vordingborg. Everyone is advised to go indoors. If you are in the Vordingborg area, helicopters fly overhead, drowning out the sound of the radio. They're saying the rain's dangerous on the radio. A woman calls to the man that had left the van she was in. Close all windows and doors. Stay inside. People who had exited their vehicles rush to them, all trying to escape without success as the 18-wheeler blocks the entire road, with rails at either side and traffic having backed up. Frederick looks at the chaos and opens his door. Let's get out of here. Get out of the car. He and Ellen open the kids' doors and rush them. Why is the rain dangerous? Rasmus asks as he holds the straps to his magic backpack. Go now. Don't look back, Frederick says, pushing Rasmus forward as Ellen does the same with Simone. Go, Dad. Come on, Simone. We can't stay here. What about the others? She pauses from trekking up the hill, hearing the man from before calling out to them. We can't help anyone until we're safe. Come on, Frederick says, and she rushes to catch up. Come on, hurry, we're almost there. Apollon has a safe place. Frederick presses his hand to the scanner at the side of the underground shelter. What is this place? Where you work? Rasmus questions. Get in, Frederick demands as he watches the sky for rain. Get in. Go. He pushes the children forward, followed by Ellen as he follows. Thunder striking overhead as the wind howls. Stand still while you're being decontaminated. Simone questions his words. No disease will come in here. Apollon built these bunkers for catastrophes. There's everything we need. Catastrophes? Rasmus asks. We don't know how serious this is. Frederick says. Simone follows behind her family, taking everything in, heart racing. I don't want to be here. Rasmus says. I want Donna. Why isn't she here? Don't worry, honey. We'll go home soon. I'm sure Donna will be fine and she'll be taking you out to go bowling again in no time. Ellen's hands shake as she lies to her sweet innocent little boy. Frederick hands her a tablet telling her it holds the manual for the bunker. How long will you be gone? You know that I don't know that. You're leaving, Rasmus says. Are you getting Donna? Mom, did you know this would happen? Simone snaps back to reality and questions, but both her parents ignore her and move into another room that hold hazmat suits. Where's Dad going? What are they talking about? Rasmus moves to her side, scared. I don't know. Ellen and Frederick leave the room and he says their goodbyes to them, telling them he needs to retrieve something. But what about the rain? Simone asks. You can't just go, Dad. Simone looks at him, concerned, and he pulls her to the side as Ellen takes Rasmus to the kitchen. You're old enough to hear this. Frederick says. It's in the rain. A virus, it kills people. It's worse than you can imagine. What are you talking about? Right now, I'm the only one who can fix it and can save everyone from dying. You have to be strong, for Rasmus. No harm can come to him. He looks her in the eye. You have to be responsible for your little brother. Simone tries to tell him that she doesn't understand, but he cuts her off. No one must find Rasmus. Frederick hesitates before saying, he's the key to it all. But Dad, what's with him? Just protect him. No one knows you're here. You're safe here. I'll be back as soon as I can. I promise. Frederick leaves, and in that time she remembers her phone in the pocket and unlocks it. Immediately finding video posts from her friends. Somebody help us. People are dying outside. They beg for help. They cry. Simone watches, trying to hold her own tears back. No. Simone moves on to another. More than 100 deaths in Næstved. It's happening in Vordingborg, too. She goes to another, finding a post from Igor. We can't go outside or talk to anyone who's been outside. Crash. Woman scream, Mom. The video cuts off and Simone's hand covers her mouth. She hears Rasmus questioning their mother. Simone walks into the kitchen area and sees her mother's hand shaking as she makes hot cocoa. Knocking comes from above ground. Is it Dad? Rasmus asks. It can't be, Dad. Let's have some cocoa. Who else could it be? Simone questions her. We have to open it. Rasmus says. Mom, what if he can't open the door? It's really dangerous. The banging only gets louder. It's not Dad. Ellen tells them, setting a cup down, her hand shaking. He won't be back anytime soon. She turns around and finds her children gone. No, she whispers and runs to the entryway. Come back. She bangs her hand against the decontainment chamber's doors. Ellen tries to force it open as she sees Simone and Rasmus on the steps, the door hatchet rising. She finally gets past one of the doors and is at the second now. No, Ellen cries out, seeing it nearly fully open now. Dad, Simone calls excitedly, and Rasmus moves forward. A wet bare hand grabs Rasmus by the shirt. Simone recognizes the rain-soaked man as the one from the white van. He had followed them and now he was grabbing onto Rasmus, and Simone latches onto Rasmus from behind in an attempt to stop the man from pulling her little brother out into the rain. Mom, Donna, Simone, Rasmus yells in terror. Ellen bangs at the door, pulling her hands along it. No, don't. Let go of me. Let go of him, Simone says as she holds onto Rasmus. Get off him. No, let go. Ellen yells as the door opens and she runs up the steps. She tackles the larger man, sending them both falling back into the rain, drenching them. Go in. Goo. She yells at her children. Mom, come in, come back. Rasmus and Simone call, but Ellen seizes, her lips quickly turning blue as she rocks along the ground. Simone pulls Rasmus back as she closes the hatch, their mother screaming, still reaching them as they sit on the steps, crying. Simone takes out her phone. Dad, come on, pick up. She calls him again and again and again, each time only get an out-of-service tone. She puts Rasmus in the small room and holds him as he cries himself to sleep. Simone walks into the room of hazmat suits and stares at it, leaning against the wall before breaking down. Please, I can't do this without you. Please come back. I never should have opened the door. She slides down to the floor. Help, she screams through her tears. Help. Apollon would explain why Apollon still has the baseline from her and how it comes to be spread and create the rain. All involving belladonna does not exist in canon, and it is not actually yet known how the virus was developed aside from Dr. Anderson having been at the forefront of it. Several flashbacks regarding the virus and Rasmus occur throughout the series, however I will just be using those from episodes 1 here. I may integrate others in future chapters, however. Belladonna's escape. Somewhere roughly 6 miles above Germany. Frederick Anderson was in a plane flying first class back to Sweden as he looked over his private notes regarding subject C7. He was amazed by the subject's blood samples and genetic anomalies. Its genetic sequencing was incredible and contained something never before seen. He typed the unique sequencing into his notes when suddenly his head was thrown back and he dropped the laptop. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your pilot speaking. I've turned on the fasten seatbelts sign on and have asked the flight attendants to be seated. A storm is forming and creating severe turbulence. As such, I would like everyone seated for their own safety. Please put any loose items away. I will be bringing us above the clouds for a smoother ride. You could not have said so earlier. Frederick thinks furiously. When he finally manages to retrieve his laptop, the screen is blank. Damn it. He sits and tries to regain the project he'd been working on in his free time, only managing to find partial notes on a genetic sequencing he had been developing for the hell of it. He decides to save it and work on it later. Several years later, Dr. Anderson works in his office and believes he has finally made progress on his side project. A viral contagion that could change the world should it works as he believes it will. He has to meet with Sten and get the necessary funding. This will change the world. After Rasmus falls sick, it has to be now. Ellen tells her husband, we're not ready. Frederick tells her, by the time you're ready, he'll be dead. She says from where she is sitting. Do it now, Frederick. You showed me the simulations. The calculations say it works. I will not inject my son with something I haven't researched thoroughly. No, but there is nothing left to research. You know everything there is to know. You have to try. They have no idea that Simone, drawn by their voices, now listens to them from around the corner, having left Rasmus' side after ensuring his oxygen mask was properly secured. We don't know if it's a mutagen. Well, what are we afraid of now? That it will kill him. He's already dying. She tells him, refusing to cry. She has cried enough and not her husband has a way to save him. She just needs to make sure he does. All the calculations say it works. You showed me the simulations. But they are simulations. Frederick tries to get it through to his wife. That simulate reality. Ellen stands, furious her husband is not willing to do whatever it takes to keep their son alive. Do it now, Frederick. She tells him before walking away. Simone sits with Rasmus in the sunroom of their home that has been converted into a room specifically for his care. The monitor steadily beeping and his wheezing filling the room. Frederick walks in with a large metallic briefcase that he sets on Rasmus' bed, opening it to reveal a laptop embedded into it and some sort of vials beneath the keypad. Are you ready? The simulation are consistent. Frederick speaks onto the phone. I'm going to inject 100 milligrams now and another 100 again in an hour. The virus should activate within 5 minutes. We should see results in 10. Frederick looks over to his daughter and shifts his head and body toward the doorway, silently telling her to go as she watches on. No, I'm not doing it at the hospital. They won't allow it. Yes. He says after listening. Yes, we'll show them the results if it works. Frederick's hands shake as he prepares the injection, ensuring no air is within it, and he looks at his watch before taking a glance at his son. He takes a breath and injects the virus, praying against it all that it works. The world is sick. I can stop it. We can save millions of lives. What do you mean? The world is sick. I can stop it. It's a virus. You don't know what the consequences are. It's time to release it. That's insane. It could save millions of lives. Frederick tells his wife. He knew what he had created. The virus would end all disease and he would be the one who had saved them all. This was his legacy. You're not even sure. Rasmus might be the only one it helps. You don't know. What if you're wrong? I'm not. It kills multi-resistant bacteria. Think of all the lives that will be saved. We'll save millions, maybe more. Who do you guys imagine as Ida? I kind of picture Lindsay Morgan. Let me know what you guys think, or if you have any suggestions. One day after first rain. They wouldn't let them leave to check on their families. Ida had managed to call her brother before the network went down, only to hear him say their parents had collapsed before he himself began choking, followed by the silence of his death. He had tried again and again to reach Bella since, but the network was never re-established. He hoped she was safe. It was a short while later that the two of them and a number of others were gathered to rally at checkpoints. He had joined the one that would bring them the closest to Haslov and therefore Donna. Approximately 80 miles away from her. He sat as they rode down the road, just watching the passing landscape. Hey, just breathe, okay? Take it easy, he told the boy next to him. Yes. The blonde nodded and slowly calmed. What you got there? It's a periscope. Periscope. Like my name. Funny, isn't it? The soldier across him near Ida said. That's not a periscope, Ida said. It's a kaleidoscope, you idiot. He said, chuckling along with the others. Not so funny after all. Said. Here. He handed it to him. You take it. Good. Okay, listen up. Their commanding officer told them. Anyone who hasn't been in quarantine isn't allowed to cross the safe line. We still don't know the incubation period of the disease. If you see anyone who has been exposed to infected people or to the rain, then you must order them to keep away from you, or you risk getting infected yourselves. If that is not respected, you're allowed to open fire. We can open fire? Martin questions, turning to look at the man incredulously. You're allowed to do whatever the situation requires. Follow me, you're first on watch. Ida looks at him, worried but nods. He was playing with the kaleidoscope from atop the bridge road when he caught sight of something. What the hell is that? A woman with long dark straight hair walked toward his direction, in the direction of the safe line. He grabbed his assault rifle. Go back. This area is sealed off. He shouted. Just leave. He whispered before firing off a warning shot. Go back. He screamed. Listen to me. Turn back. He mumbled before looking at her through his scope and finding she held a baby in her arms. I'm counting to 3. He yelled out at her. 1, 2, go back. Please go. Don't make me shoot you. His scope caught sight of the baby's face momentarily as she was about to pass beneath the bridge he stood atop, and he couldn't do it. He jogged to the other side. Hey, listen. You can't go through here. Go back. The woman ignored him as she kept walking forward. He tried to aim again but couldn't find it in him to do so and slowly sat to the ground, putting his rifle down. He put his face into his hands, trying to calm. Bella, wherever you are, I hope you're safe. It would be another hour or so when it would happen. Radio static crackling. Martin, you have to come. Come quickly. Something terrible has happened. A baby. Help, Martin. He heard Per's voice come over his radio and ran to the camp. Please be all right. It was on his approach he saw them. They were lying there, dead. The boy who had been panicking on the road, lips blue and liquid at the side of his mouth. His commanding officer sat in the vehicle's driver's seat with a single leg hanging down from the seat as if he had been exiting, eyes closed and white foam stuck to his lower lip and beard. Hello, he called out. Martin. Per's voice called from within the tent. Per, is that you? Is Ida in there with you? Martin. Coming. He pulled the cap from his head and held it over his nose and mouth as he walked in. He could see his fellow soldiers all along the floor and at the desks having collapsed where they were. It was upon nearly reaching the end he saw her. The woman he had been unable to shoot lying dead. He did this. Martin, did you let her through? He saw her hiding behind a flipped-over table, assault rifle at the ready. Why, she was sick. I was just away for a moment and then everyone was dead. She appeared out of nowhere. I don't know where Ida is. Did you touch her? No. Quote. We need to go. We need to get out of here now and we need to find Ida. Just put down the gun. Put it down. Per did as he was told, but it was the words that came from Per's mouth that froze him. We have to bring the child. He glanced towards the woman again and he realized it then. She was laying on the ground perfectly flat. There was no way there was an infant beneath her. What? Per, did you touch the baby? No, I'm taking care of her. Per went to crawl a few feet away and Martin looked over, finding the wet head of an infant that was wrapped in the lilac blanket. It was upon looking back at Per he noticed the sheen of sweat on his forehead. Leave her. Just leave her now. No, he said, breathing heavily, and Martin stepped back, eyes wide in fear as Per began coughing, spewing bile before collapsing. gasping and retching as he attempted to stand only to fall back as Martin slowly backed away in horror until he was outside the tent. I did this. I did this. Martin, Ida called from atop the hill, gun in hand as she looked down taking in the bodies. What happened? Where were you? Were you here when the woman came? What woman? They sent me in the other direction to watch from above. Captain called me back. What happened? We need to go. Martin, tell me. She grabbed him by the arm once close enough. I was stupid. She had a baby and I couldn't do it and shish. He slid his hand down his face. She was infected. She infected the others. It's my fault. Martin, no. He tried to interrupt her. Martin, look, she isn't out here. She's in the tent. They couldn't shoot her either. I need to find Bella. He tells her. We need to find Bella and we will. Her hocus pocus will keep her safe until we get there. She hopes she's right. Martin won't survive otherwise. 3 weeks after first rain, Patrick. The had made it into a small city and hoped to commandeer a vehicle. Ida had said a mechanic shop would be their best shot. Low risk of running into anyone and more chance of finding a vehicle that didn't need to be damaged to get into along with access to fuel. They had arrived at a decent-sized shop and settled in for the night after securing the area. It was the next morning however as Ida searched the cars as he stood guard that a car pulled up smoke coming from the motor. A man exited and kicked the tires. Stupid piece of shit. I think it's dead. Martin tells him rifle aimed at him. Why are you pointing that thing at me? Why are you driving a shitty car? The boy shrugs arms flailing down to his side as one reaches into his pocket quickly pulling out a box of cigs. Martin watches. Can I get a light? If you don't shoot me. I won't if you pass one here. Ida says walking in, a key ring spinning around her finger. Found a car she mentioned going to the cinema before it rained and then coming out to find everything was gone when she talked with Rasmus after being separated from the others in Copenhagen. So what about the other people that were there? Or how about the fact that we know it rained for hours as it was still raining during Simone's breakdown after her getting Rasmus to sleep their first night in the bunker? Here's another one. Patrick fell asleep in his car while parked near the beach after getting high as fuck, when his dad gave it to him and basically told him to fuck off. Now, how is it that when he wakes the sun is shining through the clouds high as hell so maybe morning or noonish as the clouds recede and his car is only somewhat dry as we can see a few drops still there. Also that phone call Beatrice mentions just doesn't make sense. The first message her father told Beatrice that her mother was sick. The second was him telling her he felt strange and not to come home. The third was just silent. It was silent, really. How did a dead man or a man puking, rasping, seizing, and screaming as we see them do call your ass yet not make a lick of noise on that message? Anyone got an answer for me? Month 4 Beatrice, Lee, and Jean. There was 3 of them. They chased after them. They needed those supplies if they were going to make it. Run, they'll kill us. The dark-haired girl's voice screamed out to the other runners. Who are they? A young man's voice called. Stop or I'll shoot. Martin yelled. The only male of the group with a head of wild blonde curls trips over a fallen branch. Run, screams the dark-haired girl again. My glasses. The boy yells. Get up. The blonde girl tells him. She raises her arms in surrender praying that those chasing them won't kill them. Stop. He warns the one girl still running. My glasses. I lost my glasses. The boy looks for them on the ground unable to see in front of him. Wait. Martin releases a warning shot and the dark-haired girl in the gold jacket freezes. You stay there. You, up, come on, stay there, Patrick says coming behind the dark-haired girl. Nice and easy, nice and easy. He pushes her forward lightly using a thick branch he had picked up but still with enough force to move her. Patrick, you've got her. Yay, leave us the fuck alone. What do you want? Grab their stuff. Yay, give me that. The dark-haired girl rips the large bag away from the blonde boy she'd been traveling with. You can't have it. Put it down. Put it down. Martin yells at her. No, just take her out. Put the fucking bag down. Just shoot me. There's no food in there anyway. Just put it down. Martin demands staring her down and she does so. I can show you where there's food. He lowers the gun. We should just take their stuff. She's full of shit. Patrick tell him. If she is, we'll know soon enough. He walks past, watching her and silently signals Ida to follow them. Ida reveals herself as they walk into the greenhouse. Who the hell are you? The dark-haired girl, Beatrice asks hostilely. Name's Ida. I'm with them. She gives a sarcastic smile, not liking the girl one bit and follows them inside. Just sit down. Weren't you hungry? Beatrice comes from gathering wood for a fire. We try to keep our distance from people, especially those who might be infected. Patrick says looking at her warily. You didn't mind stealing our stuff. Your stuff isn't infected. Ida calls from where she watches them. They have 0 chance of survival. Patrick tells Martin as they watch them. We should ditch them in the morning. Beatrice listens in on their conversation unaware that Ida knows exactly what she is doing while Lee, the blonde-haired girl prays with Jean, the curly-haired boy. Go ahead and eat. Lee says. Thanks. Patrick says. So where did you learn to cook? My mom, Jean tells him. Was she a chef or something? Was that a stupid question? No, Ida tells Patrick before turning to Jean, all the while keeping a subtle eye on Beatrice. Tell us about your mom. His name is Jean. His mom named him after Jeanne d'Arc because she hated men. Right. Oh, please tell us about the time she made you wear a dress to school. Martin laughs with the others until he feels the girl staring at him again. He could admit she was somewhat pretty but in comparison to his Bella she was little to look at. If anything her stare made him uncomfortable and he shifted in his seat turning his eyes away from her. If I don't pay her any mind, she'll get the hint. Stop, Lee, Jean said embarrassed at her mentioning it. Sorry, you fucking suck, Lee. Hey, who's that yen dark fella? Patrick asks sending Lee and Ida laughing again. Rain falls in the night, pitter-pattering again the greenhouse as the group sleeps as Beatrice lays awake. She looks over to where Martin lays sleeping, a plan forming in her mind. He was too innocent. He was the quiet type that was either still a virgin or had only slept with one girl who he planned to spend the rest of his life with until the rain came and killed her. She was sure she could have him wrapped around her pinky finger with just a quick fuck. She took a quick look around. Everyone's asleep. She stood and made her way to the separate area he had claimed slightly away from the rest of them. It was even better this way since the others wouldn't know. She walked up to his side quietly and took in the sight of him laying there. Her hands reached out to unzip his pants and he shifted, mumbling, "Belle." She pauses, but when he settles a moment later she climbs onto the table he's sleeping on, slowly crawling her way over him, careful not to make a sound. Martin startles, feeling something graze his leg. "Shish, shish." She put a finger to his lips as he blinks up at her. Her hand reaches down to pull him out, and the moment her hand touches him, he throws her off of him. His dream of Bella having turned into a living nightmare when he woke up to her above him. He glares down at Beatrice as she stares up in shock at his rejection. How am I going to explain this to Bella? There's no way I can't tell her. The click of a gun being cocked is heard and both their heads snap to the direction it came from. Ida stands there, gun aimed at Beatrice. "Time to go, ho." Ida tells her as she stands there in the dark glaring, the bitch who had damn near raped her friend and surrogate sister's boyfriend while he was sleeping. She'd been half asleep when she heard the creak of the wood shifting. It had taken her a few moments to realize there wasn't an immediate threat to herself, but her first instinct was still to grab her gun. It was as she saw Martin's drowsy voice mumble her friend's name that she caught sight of the girl climbing over him, but through the clear glass she could see he was clearly sleeping, or at least he was until she made the wrong move. Though getting her ass up to do so in the first place was all a mistake. "The three of us will go on alone. It's safer in smaller groups," Martin says, each group standing a few feet away. "I just thought we could be in this together," Beatrice says lowly enough to be heard by Martin and Ida. Ida scoffs, dark eyes narrowed at the girl while Martin shifts, uncomfortable yet sympathizing with the would-be rapist. "I bet this is why Bella asked me to look after him when we left for training. He's such a fucking bleeding heart. I have a secret. I grew up down there." Beatrice nods her head toward a small yellow house with a blue metal roof, located just down the hill. "Seriously?" Martin asks, looking over at it. It reminds him a bit of his grandparents' home in Haslev. "I was born there too." "You were? Well then, why don't you go have a look at it?" Ida cuts in her, as Bella called it, bitch smile plastered on. "I haven't been there since the rain." Beatrice paused before continuing, blinking twice as she spoke. "My mom saved me. She told me to stay indoors and not go out. I saw them die. Your parents. And my little sister. I'm sorry. No, no, no." Ida thought to herself as she looked at the girl, carefully positive she was lying but having no proof other than her gut. "So are we moving on, guys?" Patrick called out. "Yay, but they're coming with us." "Shit," Ida mumbles, shaking her head as she walks. Fucking bleeding heart. Month 6 Belladonna. 6 months, 3 weeks and 5 days. It took nearly 7 fucking months for them to make it to Haslev. Martin worried that if Bella was still out there she may have left already. He knew their town was somewhat a decent size, though small, holding a population just over 11,000. Much of that population came from the 2 boarding schools and colleges, though, through students dorming and professors living in the area. It was as they walked through the town, bodies littering the streets as festive lights were hung around, that he remembered the annual jazz festival. The festival had begun taking place when he was a kid after Jesper Bodelson had received a Django d'Or, the Golden Django, for Best Performer in the early 2000s. He still remembers taking Bella to the one last year. His hand reaches into his interior jacket pocket and pulls the photo. Her red hair in smooth curls laying over her shoulder in a floral dress and heels, while he had worn a tee with denim button-up over it and jeans. He thought he was an idiot when he saw her there so dressed up, but she had just laughed and said she liked it. His grandfather had taken the photo of them together when he caught sight of the two of them. He could still remember his words now. "Martin, you listen here, boy. You marry that girl, because if you don't, you'll regret it the rest of your life. I let your grandmother go once and it was the biggest mistake of my life. As horrible it is to say, Willem Grand dying in Germany is the only reason I ever got my second chance with her. She's hot." Patrick's voice came from his side before the picture was ripped from his hand. "Who is she?" Beatrice asked, voice tight. "My girlfriend." His girlfriend. Martin spoke, not once pausing aside from a moment to retrieve the photo. Ida speaking at the same time, bitch smile full on. "She also happens to be my best friend. She looks lovely, Martin." Lee tells him hesitantly. "Is that why we're here?" "Yes." He didn't bother saying anything else. "Bella is the reason Martin and I survived. She managed to call us just before the rain reached Randers, told us not to get wet. The rain hit after she made it home. She saw Martin's grandparents die. It wasn't long before they reached the small street and came to the cottage. The interior not at all like his memory. Dust covered much of the furniture and flowers from the garden kept in vases were black with death, petals having fallen or ready to crumble at the slightest touch. He raced up the steps only to find a note pinned to her bedroom door. He pulled the note off and reads it, heart pounding so loud it's as though drums are pounding. "You can find me at sunset. At the place we first kissed. When it does not rain. With love and hope, BW." His hand passes across the letters and create a small smudge. Gel pen. "She was here today." He looks out the window to find the sun already setting and runs out and down the steps. "Martin." Ida calls after him as he races past her, a look of pure joy across his face, and she chases after him, the others following quickly behind. He is about 3 dozen yards away when he hears a scream that leaves him terrified. "Get off of me." Bella's scream is followed by the loud clap of flesh being struck. He can see a man's back leaned over and a jean-clad leg kicking upward. A struggle is happening as choking fills the air. Bella, he screams out, hand at his gun as her magic lashes out, throwing the man away from her and off the gazebo, the force of her magic and his weight breaking the railing. Her hand reaches up to her throat as she coughs and he runs past the man to her. Belle, he collapses next to her, pulling her into his arms and lifting her chin so he can look at her. Green eyes wide as she looks back and he presses kiss after kiss across her face. Martin, you're here. You're finally here, she rasps out. Was that Mr. Lowell, the grade school teacher? His arms tightened around her and he pressed another kiss to her head. Belle, Ida took in the sight of the man with the wood of the small fence, built to contain the seasonal flowers that likely grew within at one point, bloodied as it exited his chest. Blood dribbling out the side of his mouth. She looked at her friends. He wasn't. No, he just wanted me to stay with him. Do you want me to write using what we know up to the end of season 2 and then wait until season 3 comes out to continue on, with my own twists and turns being added in? Year 6. This is stupid, the tall strawberry blonde says as his sister finishes trimming his hair and begins shaving his face. What is? The blonde bob-haired woman asks him before rinsing the razor of the foam. You shaving me? You want to do it? She asks him holding the razor out. No, I don't even have a beard. No, but you have fuzz. Don't they say you get a beard once you've shaved? She continues, finally making it halfway. Why did you lie? He eyes look at her through the mirror and she pauses. About what? About when we're leaving. I didn't lie. She shakes her head. We're still waiting. It's been years. Yay, but Dad's not coming. He's probably dead. Mom's dead. No, and we'll die too. Yay, you keep pretending everything's okay but we're running out of food. She stutters trying to T8NK of an answer. We're waiting for him to return. Muse, he said he'd come back. He said. Rasmus strikes the mirror once and then keeps going, glass shattering. I want to get out of here. Rasmus is right. We're running out of food. We can't stay here any longer. I'm going outside. I have to see what's out there before I take Rasmus with me. I'll take care of him. If there's nothing out there, we will head for the next bunker. Simone speaks to the hazmat suit before walking out and making sure Rasmus is asleep for the night. Quickly finding something to write with, she goes to one of the glass doors leading to the kitchen area and writes. Rasmus, Duma Ika ga ud. Vent. Rasmus, don't go out. Wait. Simone grabs one of the suits, quickly putting it on before walking up the steps to the bunker's entrance. She can hear her mother's screams echoing in her ears as she looks at the ground where she had last seen her, though no trace remains. The memory of her seizing and the pain on her face flashing to the forefront of her mind, seeing it as though it was once more happening right there in front of her. She breathes heavily and leans down, touching the ground with her covered hands, and looks up. She falls back at the sight of a deer in front of her before slowly moving to get back up, eyes watching the animal for any sign of attack as she backs away. It doesn't take long to find the road and come across a building with writing on its side and arrows pointing to the right. She follows it. Hello, anybody out here? OPSAMLING 2500M. Pickup location 2500M. The road itself has even been painted with the distance as she continues on until at last she comes across what appears to be a hospital. Hello, is anybody there? Simone calls out as she walks inside. Directions are painted on the lobby floor, the arrow pointing upward and to the right. OPSAMLING 100M. Pickup location 100M. Hello. She follows the arrows and upon turning sees a desk followed by a number of hospital beds and rooms. As she walks down the hall, she looks in through the glass windows of the rooms. The first she sees a black corpse, once blue and gold Velcro sneakers at the feet blackened by age, exposure, and dust. The corpse is that of a little boy that would have been far too young. Her father's voice begins to echo through her head, her mother's following it in opposition. The world is sick. I can stop it. Her breathing becomes heavy and as she looks away and continues, she hears a crunch beneath her feet. Looking down, she sees rotted clothing and bones. She steps back and turns away, her flashlight landing on a nearby hospital bed where yet another rotted corpse lays. This one an adult, likely a woman by the length of the hair remaining. The corpse's skeleton nearly fully revealed aside from the upper section of the ribs where the chest would be located, which have some sort of calcified remains covering it. We can save millions of lives. What do you mean? Simone soon comes across a larger room where corpse after corpse lays. She tries to move through and past it quickly. Hello, the world is sick. I can stop it. It's a virus. You don't know what the consequences are. We can save millions of lives. It's time to release it. A memory of Rasmus when they believed he was sick and dying, no hope of survival, flashes across her mind. She remembers him taking a breath, able to finally breathe comfortable on his own after that day her father had come home with his new medicine. His first breath had been large, lifting his chest high, and clear of any pain or strain. That's insane. Is anybody there? Simone says, reaching another hallway before looking into another room. Her breathing heavy as she walks in, staring down at the floor. The floor where the corpse of a child lies. She lifts her flashlight, looking around and finding bunk beds. Small corpses and old toys for children about. Her light landing on a small stuffed bunny so much like the one Rasmus had when he was a little boy of 4. You don't know the consequences. It kills multi-resistant bacteria. Her breathing is rough as she backs out and she aims her light down the hall before freezing. A feral dog watching her. It growls at her and she gasps. The dog snaps its teeth and she runs, the dog chasing after her. Beeping sounds through the bunker and Rasmus turns on his side. Beep 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 beep. Simone. Rasmus calls, rising from bed and walks into her room, turning off the alarm, signaling that it is now 7:30 a.m. He walks out of the room and looks to the kitchen. He sighs as he sits. Why didn't you stop the alarm? Rasmus. Listen, we can't stay here. What? Rasmus looks at his older sister, sure that he had heard her wrong. We're leaving tomorrow, she tells him. What do you mean? Was she serious? Does she really mean what I think she does? He thinks. Because there's nothing out there. What are you talking about? Dad told me to take care of you. He said I should protect you, but I can't protect you because there is nothing. Simone tells him, eyes watering. You went outside. He says more than questions. Yes, and it's just shit. There's nothing out there for us. There's no one out there. Everyone's gone. And I'm sorry, but all we can do is head to the next bunker and then we'll be locked up down there, but that's all I can do. Simone says, snot running down her nose, and she lifts her arm to wipe it away. Muse, I can't do anything. I can't do anything, but I can't do it alone. Hey, Rasmus stands from his chair. Don't worry, you're not alone. I'm here too. All right, you don't have to look after me anymore. We look after each other. Simone nods as a tear falls and Rasmus pulls her into a hug, letting her go a short while later. Listen, I just want to see the sky again, just for 5 minutes. Simone smiles, seeing his own smile. Tomorrow, Rasmus laughs in excitement as he sits back down. Beeping from alarms begin all around the bunker. The tablet lying on the small nightstand near the siblings doing so as well. Warning, AIRVENTS blocked. Oxygen level critical. Rasmus wakes, gasping, the room spinning around him as he tries to grab his bearing. Simone, he shakes her but she doesn't answer. I can't breathe, we can't breathe down here. He drags her through the bunker and up the stairs to the entrance. Simone, breathe, Simone, how do you open this? Come on, he bangs against the door before looking to the side and finding a small box coming out the wall. He presses his hand to it but nothing happens. Come on, why isn't this working? The alarms continue blaring all the while until a computerized voice speaks. Emergency override, opening doors. Emergency override, opening doors. Rasmus turns as the doors lift. Wind blowing in his first breath of fresh air in years. He drags Simone along before collapsing to the ground. He can hear her gasping as she draws in air, but he doesn't look at her. Instead, he looks up at the trees reaching up into the sky that he hasn't seen in years. He presses his fingers into the mossy green beneath him and sighs as he feels the cool squishiness of it in his hands as it crumbles. Simone breathes, catching her breath before looking up after hearing a clicking noise. She sees masked strangers moving towards them, one of which with a large gun pointed at them. She grabs Rasmus, pulling him back in towards the bunker. Who are those people? Rasmus asks as she pulls him up. Stop, a man's voice yells, rifle leveled at them as he stands. Simone is still unsteady, however, and so steps about dizzily. Stop moving, we won't do anything. Go back, go on, get in. He screams at them until they're back inside. Shut up, go, stop there, stop, stay there, he orders once finally in the center room of the bunker, 4 people following and spreading out behind him. Are you alone? Yes, she says leaning forward, hands up in surrender. Come any closer and I'll kill you. Got it, he says and she immediately leans back. In there, go, he orders her into the room behind them, and gives those with him orders to spread out. And you two stay there. So you won't infect us. We were not infected, we haven't been out, we've been here for 6 years. We saw you in town. He says before closing the door and locking them in, a chair placed under the doorknob to secure it. Who are they? Simone, you said there was no one outside. Martin looks around seeing the lit Apollon sign hanging on the wall. He can't help remembering the man who was like a father to him and turns away. We've got 5 minutes or we risk getting caught down here. Beatrice looks towards the door where Simone is banging her hand. She can't hear what the girl is saying, though it's clear from the way her mouth is moving that she's being pretty loud in there. She tries to ignore it, knowing that she's already skating on thin ice as it is after Martin and Lee heard the comments she made about Belladonna when speaking aloud to herself. Bingo. Gene spoke lowly to himself as he finds a bag of dried food. He opens it and quickly bites one of the bars. Gene, have you found anything? Martin's voice calls out to him from nearby. No, not yet. Gene calls back, taking one more quick bit before putting it back in the bag and stuffing it inside his jacket. We'll get out again, Rasmus. I just want to see the sky. Rasmus, listen to me. Simone reaches out to grab his arm but he pulls away. Just leave me alone. I just want to get out. Now. Rasmus sits in the corner of the room, arms wrapped around his legs. I don't want to be down here. I don't want to be down here again. Hey, breathe, calm down. We'll get out again. We just need to find a way to talk to them. He said he was gonna kill you. Rasmus, we have to do something. I have an idea. Beatrice looks towards the door again, the girl yet again knocking on the thick glass. She looks around before moving toward it. She shakes her head, she can't hear the blonde. She presses her hand up in a wait signal and moves back before returning with a marker. Simone. She writes on the glass before tapping a finger pointing at her. She slowly sounds out her name. Beatrice. Beatrice. Finally the girl's lips move forming her name and she nods. She erases the name and draws a question mark. Moving close, Beatrice breathes against the glass and uses her finger to write. Mad food. Beatrice, our 5 minutes have passed. Guys, come on, we have to move, Martin says, irritated as she was supposed to alert everyone when their time was up here. Get away from the door. There's not a scrap of food here. Patrick comes forward seeing his friend's irritation. Check one last time in here for food. Then let's go, Martin tells him, nodding his head toward the kitchen area. Martin, what about them? The girl trapped inside looking between them, mouth moving but going unheard. They're dead weight, Martin says looking at Beatrice. He needs to get back to Bella, this entire day was a bust. Hopefully her and Ida had better luck at the camp they made a few miles out. He gathers the others and they begin to leave. Beatrice looks back at the door as the girls pounds away at it in panic. You know the rules. 5 minutes in and out. Beatrice moves towards him before pausing. When did we start killing innocent people? I wonder, if your little Belle was here would it be the same? What do you think she'll have to say? She tells him, her eyes unwavering. Martin grits his teeth. You wonder whether or not she'll believe the word of a compulsive liar who nearly got her killed. Don't forget Beatrice, the only reason you're still with us is because Bella didn't want to make Lee have to choose. If it wasn't for her, you'd be gone. No, no, you can't go. Don't go. Simone yells, pounding at the door as she sees the last of them, the man with the gun, their leader turn to leave. They can't just leave us here. Rasmus says as Simone turns away from the door and moves in his direction. Food. They need food. Okay. She grabs the tablet which has control of the bunker and shuts down the lights. She bangs at the door holding the tablet to the glass and sees as the man moves back in her direction. When a few feet away she turns the lights back on. Simone grabs the marker and writes. Bunkere mad. Bunkers. Food. He moves in, coming closer and she holds up the tablet revealing that there are more bunkers before backing away from the door. He taps at the glass trying to get her to move closer but she lifts the tablet and throws it as hard as she can to the hard floor, breaking it. Simone lifts her hand and taps at her head signaling that she knows where they are, as he watches her pissed off. So, where's the bunker? This way. They followed behind by several feet. There's a road up there. Which way? Martin asks the girl leading them around. He was uncomfortable with this. They were heading pretty close to where Bella and Ida had set up camp for them after finding enough room to hide the trailer. He couldn't be thankful enough not only for Bella's magic but that her father had taught her engineering. She knew exactly how to keep everything working. With her knowledge she'd been able to magic her truck's motor to run on electricity and connected it into the solar panels embedded along the roof of the trailer. Her magic managed to keep anyone from stealing them but with her also made sure everything worked. The trailer held a rain collector with a massive filter that was hooked into the trailer's plumbing. Though they chose to distill it manually as well as her magic did not allow her to trust Beatrice or Jean with the knowledge of what she could do though she had shown hints of it to Lee. Still the water was used only to drink or cook and occasionally clean themselves with a wet rag as clean water was still a commodity and the collector could only be magically expanded to be twice its actual size internally without being damaged. Bella worried that water she magicked would hold the virus as it didn't simply just appear but was produced by joining oxygen and hydrogen atoms. With the rain holding the virus it was entirely possible she would end up with the poison. Her magic was likely the only reason they weren't starving as she used it to find food that was not only still edible but those that had been hidden away as well. Their largest find to date had nearly filled the expanded storage and kept them going for months only running low days ago. She had found it inside a hidden cellar of a small market. It had held what had to be thousands of canned goods, nearly 100 pounds of pasta and a few hundred pounds of rice. All of which had gone completely untouched thanks to the metal surround. It had kept them going for months thanks to her rationing, only running low enough to cause worry for the future these past few days as despite their continuous efforts food was scarce if not having been completely picked off in several areas. I'm not buying it. Patrick said. What? Jean asked. The little story about them being locked in a bunker for 6 years. We don't know who they are and now we're following them in a line like a bunch of chickens. Geese. Martin corrects him. What? Geese walk in a line, not chickens. Why are we following them? Just because they claim to know where there's food. Just look at her. She has no idea where she's going. Martin moves to speak with Simone. How far is it? Simone looks at him briefly before turning away. We'll be there before nightfall. How? How did you find the bunker? Simone looks at Martin. What do you mean? What's your connection to Apollon? Could Bella's father have found one of these? Could he still be out there somewhere, looking for her? Simone scoffs and looks away from him. What is it? Huh, were you there when the rain fell? We don't know anything, so maybe you don't know that everybody died when the rain came. And that those who didn't die right away had time to infect a hell of a lot of others before they died. Simone looks up as she takes in his words, shocked. So, how did you manage to survive? Huh, who are you anyway? Listen to me. Martin bent down fixing his boots. They're hungry. So find the food before they get desperate. More so before Beatrice doesn't sinks her teeth into your brother I doubt she'd have any trouble. Simone looks at Rasmus worried about what these stranger might do. We need to get to shelter before dark. It's your responsibility to find the bunker before sunset. My only responsibility is to muse. Okay, just remember one thing. I'll shoot the both of you if you endanger the group. And if you endanger Bella I won't hesitate for a second. Understood. Simone takes a breath. It's this way. What are you looking at? The trees. Rasmus says looking up breathlessly. Trees are just trees. Beatrice responds. I haven't seen them in 6 years. Rasmus tell her. I knew someone before the rain. She told me life could be found in everything. His mind goes back to that day. Simone asked Donna to watch him when their parents left her to babysit him because she wanted to go to the movies though originally she had said he could watch himself as the two of them went out. Donna had refused and said she would watch him. She had taken him to the park for a picnic after letting him help make lunch and bake peanut butter cookies. He remembers them laying down on the blanket underneath a large tree's shade after filling up on sandwiches and cookies. She had been staring up at the cloudy sky with a smile. And he asked why. Tell me what you see and hear Rasmus. Tell me what you feel. I see the sky and the leaves on the trees and I hear the other kids playing. I can feel the blanket. Her head turned and she smiles at him. Close your eyes. He doesn't. He hears her take a deep breath. Now, I'm going to point it out and you nod your head if you agree. He nods, smile wide on his face. Can you hear the birds chirping? Feel the wind against your face and rustling your hair. How about the leaves brushing against each other as the wind blows? The ducks at the pond quacking. And the grass tickling your feet. His mouth drops open a little because he can. He opens his eyes and looks at her. Why couldn't I do that before? You were only looking not seeing. Hearing but not listening. Feeling only what was obvious to you but ignoring what you consider everyday. Everything around us is living, Rasmus. From us, to those ducks, and the birds to the trees which never stop growing, the grass which only gets longer until it's cut and even the wind. Everything has a soul, Rasmus, and if you pay enough attention you can hear it, feel it, all around. Beatrice looks at all the trees around them and scoffs. That's stupid, they're just trees. Though I guess if I hadn't seen them in years I might be the same way. She adds quickly to make him more comfortable around her, upset that she hadn't been more careful with her words. Clearly just smiling and a bit of flirting wasn't going to work. Have you always been with them? Rasmus asks her, changing the subject. It's best you don't get to know me. She tells him knowing he won't be able to help asking and he does. So you won't be upset when I die. She gives a small smile as she meets his eyes before looking away. That's a weird thing to say. Rasmus tells her, falling back slightly. Stop, Martin says from a few feet ahead of them. Fuck, what is that? Rasmus asks. Down, 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 Martin orders. Patrick. He whispers and sees him remove a large metallic mesh attached to his bag. They spread it wide, covering all of them as they stay low to the ground. What's going on? Simone asks. What? Martin shushes her. Who are they? Rasmus asks. They drive around collecting survivors. If they get you, you're finished, Beatrice tells him, face only inches away as she pushes close to him. The drone is coming out. Martin says. It's heat-seeking. What? Simone asks, looking at him. They wait and then the two strangers chase after a woman who screams. Martin tell everyone to move now that they're distracted. Let's go that way. We can catch up with them. No, we're getting out of here. But we have to do something. No we don't. Let's go. As the others move, Beatrice looks at Simone. A plan already forming. This girl reminds me of Belle. That will remind Lee of her too. If she stays, so does her brother. If I stay, Lee will, and with her so will the others. It might also make Lee trust me again. What kind of animals are you? There's only two of them. Beatrice says, causing the others to pause in confusion, especially Martin. What? So we can help her? No, we can't. We're leaving. He narrows his eyes, watching her. I don't know what you're up to, but it's not happening. Then I'll do it, Beatrice says, turning around and pulling Simone along. Come on, Martin, if that was Bella. Comes from Lee hesitantly. Shit. He chases after the three, the others sticking close. They finally catch up and Martin shoots the two men down. Are you okay? Beatrice asks as she runs forward until she sees the stream of black the woman is trying to climb out of. Her legs wet with the dark liquid poison. Martin moves closer, taking in the area when he sees the remains of a horse. Flesh and meat still mostly present, meaning it had died recently. Most likely in the past week or two, going by its missing leg and the missing innards that had clearly been eaten by some other animal. What stands out more so, however, is the fact that the horse's head is partially underwater, meaning it died either drinking the blackened water or traversing it. He knows animals can survive the infection though they spread it, but the dark coloring in the animal itself means the woman will not. Everything's okay. The strange woman whimpers, standing. I just want to go home to my family and my children. She gasps fearfully as Martin raises the gun. No, he shoots her in the head, sending blood and brain matter splattering the tree behind her. Martin takes a breath before turning to Patrick quickly. Check them. What have you done? Simone asks him, unable to look away from the woman's body, Rasmus staring at him fearfully. She was infected. She was dead as soon as her foot was in the water. Martin says as he turns to face her. Take a look around you. What do you see? He waits a moment as Simone looks at him blankly. He nods his head towards the horse. See the horse. The rain doesn't kill animals, but it does infect them. But look at its positioning, the way the head is bent as though it was drinking before falling over. Look at the water in the stream, it's black. That isn't because of mud, it's the virus. If that woman even made it to wherever home is, she'd have killed her family and her children. Now which way? Which way are we going? We have to get across the stream. Simone stutters, pointing out the route they need to take. Why isn't he wearing any boots? Why haven't you got any boots? None fit me, Rasmus tells him. So take theirs. I'm not wearing those. Why not? Why not? They're bloody. Oh, they're bloody. Okay, Martin responds sarcastically. They're too small. Simone interjects as Martin goes to speak again, all the while her words go ignored. Jean, for fuck's sake, tape some bags to his fucking feet. Patrick, have you found something useful? Some ammo in this bag. Take it. Let's go before the rain starts. We'll head to camp for the night. He really had been hoping they would have found the bunker beforehand so he could have something to show for the day. Instead, he wasn't just going back empty-handed but with 2 more mouths to feed. Ida will never let me hear the end of it. The camp, abandoned preschool. Wait here. I'll secure the area. He went ahead, doing a quick glance, making sure all looked as it had before the group had found the siblings in the bunker. It's safe, he called out moments later. Don't look that way, Muse. The blonde said, turning the tall teen's head away from the school's playground of children's bodies that were left to decay in the spots the rain had killed them, and he wanted to scoff. Stay close to me. Always. Okay. Though it was made to sound somewhat like a question, it was anything but, and he knew it, though he wondered if the boy did. He sent his group in first. They'd be able to warn Bella and Ida of their guests. They'd be ready, and so would he if they tried anything while the others were ahead. Let's shut down for the night. We'll make the tables into beds, he said, walking towards what was once a school cafeteria. Not necessary. I managed to find some old cots. We'll just need to grab a couple extra for our new additions. We also found blankets in the gym. Bella speaks from one of the tables. Ida and herself had moved to the side to make room for the cots. The water's finished distilling and dinner is made. There were quite a box full of pastas. Hope you like mac and cheese. We have a lot of it. She stands as Martin moves forward and pulls her into his arms, pressing a light kiss to her lips. I love anything you make. He whispers into her ear. Windows are secured. Ida spoke as she looked over Patrick. Good. Patrick, what did we get? Let's see what we got. A drone in this box. Patrick throws the drone up into the air, but it falls back down into his hands. Well, this shit doesn't work. Can we do anything? Simone speaks from where she and Rasmus stand at the doorway. No, just keep out of the way. You need to change your clothes. You can't run around in that. And you need proper footwear. He tells Rasmus as he notices how his eyes are focused on his lover's perky ass and he grits his teeth. Bella, he calls, looking to her, and Simone follows his line of sight as the small redhead with her hair braided into a crown turns their way and shock covers her face as she takes them in. Donna, Rasmus whispers reverently. Martin's head snaps to look at him. How, Ross? She looks at the tall young man standing in front of her and then the short-haired blonde next to him. Rasmus and Simone Anderson. Shit, Martin whispers. Holy fuck, is all that Eve's Ida's mouth, as the others watch on. Donna, Simone walks forward and leaps at her, pulling her into her arms and holding on tightly. She never thought she would see her again. Donna, Rasmus voices and she pushes Simone away lightly before taking in the sight of him and how much he had changed before opening her arms to him, Rasmus immediately stepping forward and pressing her into his larger frame. Shocks rush through them both. Rasmus holding her tighter. Beatrice meanwhile can only think one thing. Of course, isn't she always the fucking reason I can't seem to get a handle on things so they get done right? So this is that Rasmus. Martin says dryly. He could see that the kid clearly still had that old crush on his flower. He didn't necessarily blame him. She was beautiful with her long red hair, vibrant green eyes, petite body with generous curves, and the cutest smile with full plump lips that brought out her dimples. Wait, so you're... Simone looks between the two. Her, with you. Martin looked at her, clearly offended, but he knew from his talks with Bella at how Simone's behavior confused her and from photos long forgotten that the girl had been half in love with her. It seemed Bella couldn't help attracting both Anderson siblings. He just hoped they wouldn't get any ideas. Then again, from the look in Bella's eyes as she looked at Rasmus, he wondered if they needed to talk about things. He wouldn't lose her. Bella, love. She looks over to Martin. Think you might be able to round up some boots for him. She looks down at Rasmus' feet and sees them wrapped in plastic bags. I'll deal with it. Looks like you're coming along with me. How do you know Martin? Rasmus asks as they move down the halls. Don't you remember? She looks back at him. I've been dating Martin since before all this. You still have the backpack I gave you. She smiles at him. I still believe. He tells her and she leads him into an empty classroom. Good. That makes things easier. She walks to one of the cubbies and grabs the small children boots. Those are way too small. Rasmus, I thought you said you believed in me. She says teasingly and he laughs, nodding to her. Engorgio, she says as she waves her hands over it and it grows. Finite, she says with a flick of her wrists. Try this. How do they feel? They're great. Good. Impervious, that'll make them waterproof, but you should still be careful. Now, we really should get back if we plan on eating anything tonight. We'll get you a change of clothes once the rain stops. You got guts. What are you talking about? Simone asks. Not the smartest place to pee. Patrick tell her. What are you talking about? It's a toilet. Exactly. A hotel for bugs. He says looking back at her through the mirror. Why are you like that? Why am I like what? He turns around, crossing his arms. Like angry with us, me and Rasmus. We're actually trying to help you find food. We haven't done anything to you. Not yet. What do you think we'll do? I don't believe for a second that you and your brother just twiddled your thumbs in that tiny bunker for 6 years. But if you did, you're gonna fuck it up for the rest of us. Everyone like you is dead, now. Clearly not. Donna's here. She points out. Belle has us to take care of her when her heart gets too big and she lets in people even when she knows she shouldn't. He walks away from her but before leaving pauses to say one last thing. And it's been 6 years, that's a lot of time for a person to change. I doubt you know her as well you think you do. Lemon, 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 lemon. Later that night. Martin, everyone's asleep. Donna's voice whispered into the dark and he could hear movement as they left the room. He looked to his side finding Simone still asleep. He waited a bit, questioning if he should before moving to follow them. Martin. Donna's voice was low and heady. He felt his member hardening at her moans as he moved to look around the corner. Her undershirt was pulled down revealing her breasts to him as she grinded down on Martin's lap, her head rolled back. Martin's mouth latched onto the nipple and she groaned at his teasing. Bella. He stood holding her by her thighs and she groaned as gravity pulled her down further, burying him even deeper into her body. He sat her on the desk behind her and laid her down. Pushing in and out of her and her head turned to the side. Her emerald green eyes catching Rasmus' steel blue for a moment before they closed as she released a gasp of pleasure at Martin's thrusting hitting that sweet spot inside her. Surely it was just her imagination brought about by her worrying they'd be caught. You're being quite naughty, not paying attention in my class, Ms. Winther. He said before licking his lips and pressing a kiss to hers. I'm very disappointed. He thrusted into harder at every syllable, rocking her body back. Ah, I'm sorry, Professor Kirk. She lifted herself up, thighs trembling as her core fluttered around him. He hand caressing his cheek as the other slid along his chest before sliding around and down the side of his back before her nails dug into his ass pressing him slightly closer. They both moaned as Martin continued his shallow thrusts. Bella, she hushed him pressing a kiss to his lips before pushing him back, removing him from her and sliding off the table, wet and sticky with her fluids. She kneeled down in front of him, a hand covered by his own trailing along his midsection as she took him into her mouth, moaning at the taste of them combined on his flesh. Each of them reaching their release. Martin from her mouth wrapped around him and the sweet sounds released from it. Bella from his taste exploding upon her tongue as her fingers pressed against her bundle of nerves. Rasmus by his hand as he watched on from behind the corner, imaging her hands, her mouth, her wrapped around him. Rasmus never realized that his own gasps had grown loud enough to be heard by Martin. I love you, my sweet poison, my belladonna. She looks up at him as he bends to kneel next to her and kisses her. I love you, my soldier, my Ares. She sighs against his lips in happiness. Slight lime, where Rasmus mentions a dream. I love you, Bella. Martin pressed a kiss to her lips. Are you sure the three of you will be fine taking the long way? We can wait, can't we? The three of us will be fine. Especially with Ida as our sharpshooter. Go through the woods. Simone has already marked the location down on my map, and with transport we have to go around, which is only going to set us behind you by an hour at most, and that is only if we have to clear out cars in the middle of the road. We'll meet you on the road near there. Now, go, Belladonna says, giving him a small push back towards the rest of the group. Pat, yes, oh mighty red one. Keep him out of trouble. Get him in trouble. Okay, I can do that. Patrick says jokingly, and she rolls her eyes. Rasmus speaks up. Do you think I could go with you? You said something about finding clothes. Rasmus, it's fine Simone. I'll keep an eye on him and we'll meet up with you guys. Please Simone. Rasmus begs, and she bites her lips, remembering what Patrick had said the night before. Be careful. All right, let's move people. Martin says, and his group walks off in the direction of the woods. So why did you have to split from the others? He asked as he walked around the school building with the three young women, though his eyes were firmly locked on Donna. Transport, kid. Belle here has the hottest and safest set of wheels one could ever dream of having in the post-apocalyptic hellhole. I'm not a kid. Ida snorts, slowing down to fall back and talk with Lee. Transport. Rasmus asks Donna. My truck and RV trailer, see. She said, nodding her head towards a large blue pickup truck that had a long silver metal trailer attached to it. Managed to use what my special skills. She winks at him. And what my dad taught me about engineering to rig the truck so that it runs off electricity, more specifically, the solar panels embedded into the trailer's roof. Seeing Rasmus' confused face, she smiles. And you have no clue what I'm talking about, do you? It doesn't need gas. Rasmus asked her, and she lets out a choked laugh. No, it doesn't need gas. Just a sunny day. She moves closer to him and whispers. Or a little sun magic. So what is a RV trailer? She looks at him for a moment before turning to the other two. Hey, you guys mind riding up front on your own? Ida and Lee share a look before playing rock paper scissors. I'm driving. Lee squeals out after covering Ida's fisted hand with her own. Paper beats rock. She throws her the keys as she leads Rasmus inside the trailer, where he goes wide-eyed. It's a house. On wheels. Yay, I guess you can think of it that way. So to the right you have mine and Martin's suite, and to the left is the kitchen and dining area. The two chairs can swing out from the island if not locked in, so make sure you always put them back in, and do so if you sit there. Next to it, the living area, complete with flat screen, fireplace, the comfiest reclining seats ever, and my movie collection. Rasmus looks inside the closed glass built-ins filled with movie cases. You have cars. That's Lion King. And that Angry Birds. 1 and 2, he says excitedly, and she laughs, reaching up to ruffle the strawberry blonde curls. Rasmus leans into her touch, feeling the same tingling he felt when they hugged before. Can we watch it? He asks quietly, nervous she'll think he's just a kid, as he remembers Simone telling him to act his age just a couple weeks ago. Only Donna just smiles sweetly at him, and he feels his heart skip like it always did when she smiled at him. So beautiful, she only got more beautiful since Dad made them leave for the bunker. He feels something sharp in his chest twist at the thought of his father, and bitterness rise in his throat. He hates him for leaving Donna. She should have been there in the bunker, safe, with him, no them. Donna wouldn't have gotten mad like Simone did. She wouldn't lock herself away in that room to talk to the suits instead of him. Muse, Rasmus, I need to get the movie if we're going to watch it. Are you all right? Donna says in concern as he comes out of his mind and remembers he's not alone. I'm fine, he tells her with pink cheeks. You look flushed. Are you coming down with something? She touches the back of her hand gently to his face, and he steps back. I'm okay, really. What's through that door? Oh, that's the bunk room, which also has its own bathroom. Oh, you sit here, I'll be right back. I think you'll love seeing this. She tells him before rushing off to her and Martin's room. Her and Martin's room. Does that mean my wish won't come true? Rasmus mumbles to himself, and the memory of his dream comes rushing back. He remembers dreaming of himself doing things with Donna. Limey lemony. Rasmus, come here, sweetheart. Donna called to him softly. Her soft hand caressing his face, and slowly she was pulling his face closer to hers. She peppered his face with light kisses. You're my good boy, aren't you, Rasmus? He nods his head. I think you deserve a reward for behaving so well. He smiles at her and wraps his arms around her tiny body. She was so much smaller than him. Rasmus, what is this? She says as her hand slides across his pants before softly gripping him. She waves her hands, and suddenly he's naked. He blushes and tries to cover himself, but she just looks at him. It's okay, sweetie. There's nothing wrong about this. She pushes his hands away, taking the hardened flesh into her hand as she moves it up and down. Rasmus tries to stay quiet, only she leans forward and she's naked too. Round breasts with pointed nipples grazing him as she leans over him. Do Donna hurts. Shish, sweetheart, I'll make it all better. She tells him, and he feels something wet touch the tip. Soft like flower petals, but wet and warm, so warm, and then the flower petals open around his tip as she lowers herself. You're mine now, Rasmus. My sweetheart, me sweet boy. My Rasmus. Rasmus, Rasmus, Rasmus. Rasmus, you zoned out again, and I swear you're even more flushed than before. Are you sure you aren't coming down with anything, sweetheart? Donna asked him. No, I was just thinking. Anything you want to talk about? No, I mean no. What did you think I'd like seeing? She smiles at him and then moves to where she had dropped them at the side of the reclining sofa. She bends down, giving Rasmus a view of her jean-clad behind, and he moves his hands to cover his lap. She leans back, up a wide smile on her face, and she holds them up. The pink and blue whale stuffies they won at the fair. She took him to one night. She babysat him while Simone went out with her friends. Mr. Bubbles and Mrs. Rose. He looks at the pink whale a little closer. Why does Mrs. Rose look smaller? Arf. Luna. The pup jumps into his lap, a large gray blanket between her teeth, and paws her way to the center seat, dragging the blanket across his lap before laying across him belly up and a paw swiping at his nose. Her hedgehog. As for Mrs. Rose, my little moon here had a very slow teething process and some stuffing was never found. She hands him Luna's stuffed hedgehog and he laughs and gives her a belly rub, sending her leg kicking and tail wagging like crazy. How is she still a puppy? Magic. Luna's my familiar, so she ages slowly. She'll live just as long as me. That's great. We found the bunker. It's this way. Watch your step. Martin leads them back to it, ignoring Simone who stands nearby. There's enough food to last the 9 of us for a long while. I'd prefer if you check to find how long exactly though. Better to know now than later. He says to Ida. I see you've been properly fitted for travel. He says, taking in Rasmus' new clothes which would provide better protection when outdoors. Simone gives her old friend a look and Belladonna turns to the others. You guys go ahead. Simone and I will catch up to you down there. You sure? Yay. Once the others are down in the bunker, she turns to Simone. What is it? Listen, Donna, we're not going to stay. These people, they're not right. Come with us. Simone, what are you talking about? Martin, he isn't who you think he is. Donna, he killed 3 people. You mean the strangers and the woman in the stream? Belladonna looks at her questioningly. Yes, exact. How? Simone looks at her confused at how she could possibly know that. Simone, he told me. Martin isn't a monster. He's a man doing the best he can in an impossible situation. You need to understand something, Simone. You and Rasmus were in that bunker for 6 years. The world has changed and so have the people living in it. You were safe, sheltered away from it all, but we had to live in it. You don't know a damn thing about what's going on, so don't try to judge any of us. You've changed, Simone says in disbelief, unable to see the young woman before her as the best friend from before the rain. Don't be so naive. It's not a matter of me having changed. I see the world around us and yes, Simone, I hope for better. But the fact is I'm not just going to shut my eyes to the truth. You need to grow up. There's no one coming to save you. You have to save yourself, be able to save yourself in this world. You have to be able to fight not just for you but the people you want to keep safe too. Stop thinking this is just all some bad dream that someone will come and make disappear. This is reality. The sooner you accept that, the better it will be for everyone. Simone closed the bathroom door behind her after checking to see no one was following her, Donna having taken a nap while the others were in the storage going through the supplies. Rasmus, look at this. She held out a cell phone out to him as he looked at her confused as he used a towel to dry off from his shower. It's Dad's. What? He was here, right here, she says excitedly before calming. I found something really strange on it. Look, it's an old video message from Dad's boss. He must have sent it while we were in the other bunker. Let's see it, she says, moving to sit down as she watches the door. Look, she plays it as he sits next to her. A large muscular man with dark hair taking up the screen as he talks while walking through some sort of concrete base. Frederick, I'm sorry this has affected your children. But we can't stop now. We must go on. I'm here, we've made it to the head office in Sweden. I don't know where you are, but you must come, no matter the cost. We must solve this. You're the only one who can do it. Unless we find a cure, this is the end of the world. The head office is Sweden. That's where Dad is. Simone looks at Rasmus smiling. Why did he say he was sorry about us? Rasmus asked in confusion. I don't know, but Dad's alive and he's finding a cure. He's saving the world. Donna was wrong. She didn't know what she was talking about. We need to go there. Yay, he says blankly, his tone unnoticed by Simone. He got orders to go there. Simone tells him as she shows Martin the video. Did you find it here? Martin asks and she nods. What did your dad do? He works for Apollon. Doing what? Trying to save the world, comes Rasmus' voice. Trying to save the world from here. Great, that went well. Yay, they were working on a cure. Simone responds, not catching his sarcasm. But they didn't find one. Did they? You don't know that. Yes, I do, Martin says as he gets up from the chair. I know because I've heard those rumors a million times before. And the message is 6 years old. That brings both the siblings to a pause, one of which begins to consider the argument. But you haven't been there, have you? Have you been to Sweden? To Apollon? No, we haven't, but we've been to all kinds of other places that were supposed to be different and a lot better. Come with us or stay. We're going. I need to know if our dad's alive. If your dad was alive, he would not have left you in a bunker for 6 years. Mind your own shit, Rasmus tells him and Martin looks over at him. Okay, well the only way to Sweden is going through Copenhagen, and the only way out of Copenhagen is the long bridge. Great, Simone says, cutting him off. The other bridges were destroyed. Why is that? Rasmus asks. To make checkpoints. To retrain people. Control the virus. Walk the tracks to Central Station. Stay away from strangers and other people. The few that are left in the city will kill for food. We'll stay here and survive, Martin says before walking towards the room's exit, giving Rasmus a look that clearly said they needed to talk while out of Simone's view. So what do you guys think of my version of Rasmus so far?